Good day to all. Welcome to the 21st Century Skills course. A warm welcome to all of you who are taking my class, for first or for the second time. For the second timers, thank you for joining my class again. This presentation is an orientation about our 21st Century Skills course. For those who do not know me, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Professor Arnilyn Torres, your course facilitator. I am a professor from the Tourism Management, a department under the College of Business Administration. This is my fourth year in Commune, my 10th year in Korea, and 25th year as a university professor. As I start with this course orientation, allow me to share a scenario. No one wants a depressed economy, a low standard of living, an unproductive economy, few social services, or depressed and struggling families with little hope. This is not the future any nation needs or wants. The best insurance against this sad fate and our best hope for a brighter and a more prosperous future is to continue to invest in providing a 21st century education for all our students, even in difficult times, whether living in Korea, Indonesia, India, Sweden, or Italy. All students need to learn the same 21st century skills to secure a good job and contribute to their community. I created this course for students who would like to learn a broad skills that will equip them to succeed in education and life. The skills that you will learn are the needed skills in the 21st century. These skills are unique and differ from those skills needed in the past. Societal shifts, including changes in employment, and the way information and knowledge is accessed, used, and created, have influenced the changes in these skills. In some instances, they are not new skills, but heightened importance of a particular skill, or the need to combine skill sets in different ways. These skills have been widely researched and identified, and over time have refined and updated to reflect the changing world. The categorization of these skills, sometimes referred to as general capabilities, lifelong skills, cross-curricular skills, or 21st century skills. For now, let's take a look at the course objectives. So, at the end of this course, the students should be able to identify lifelong skills that will help succeed in the 21st century workplace. Second, exemplify how to become a lifelong learner who can be a knowledge creator, technology savvy, problem solver, innovator, an effective communicator who shares ideas with others and respond positively to change. Third, apply knowledge to be a responsible global citizen who has a relationship based on fairness and tolerance, is culturally competent and able to connect locally and globally, and plan how to become a successful individual by setting goals, is resilient, able to create opportunities, and is confident in pursuing a passion. Moving on, how this course will help you. What are the practical implications? This course will prepare students with the knowledge, skills, and confidence to participate effectively in the community. And learning how to cooperate and collaborate, students can take an active part in building the community, the nation, and the world. Let's move on and see how this course will be graded. So this course will be graded in a curve, and as you see, we have four criteria for grading students in this course. First is we would look at the midterm assessment, which is a written test, equivalent to 30%. The second criterion is the final assessment, which will be done in the form of an oral presentation, another 30%. I will be taking into consideration the participation of the students, both in the online and face-to-face interaction, and this represents 30%, and the attendance, both online and in the classroom. And of course, aside from showing up in the online classes and in the classroom, I expect that you actively listen and that you interact with us. So this is 10% for a total of 100%. Now, as we start this online classes, I would like to share with you some online class helpful tips. First, show up in class. Second, be yourself and respect others. Third, ask questions. Fourth, communicate freely with your professor to clarify expectations. Fifth, complete your assignments. Sixth, think before you write. And seventh and the last, set up an intentional space where the class will happen. For your information, I have created a separate video to give you some tips on how to behave online and how to interact with others. So please do check out that video before we start our online classes. Maybe you're wondering now, how will we be doing the activities in class? As everybody knows, especially for those who are second timer with me, you know that I often, regularly, and always conducts interactive lecture. I do also have activities in class that are included in day-to-day lessons. So expect for activities both online and in the classroom. Now, I would like to let you know that this class is divided into different parts. First, I'll give you the introduction about what learning is about and what innovations do we have for learning. The first part is to answer the question, what is the 21st century learning? The second, or part 2, is what are the 21st century skills? Part 3, how do we acquire and learn 21st century skills? And of course, after learning things, most important for us to know is how to practice the skills. So let's look at the introduction. The introduction is titled Learn to Innovate and Innovative Learning. The world has changed so fundamentally in the last few decades. The roles of learning and education in day-to-day living have also changed forever. Though many of the skills needed in the centuries past, such as critical thinking and problem solving, are even more relevant today. How the skills are learned and practiced in everyday life in the 21st century is rapidly shifting, and there are some new skills to master, such as digital media literacy, that weren't even imagined 50 years ago. Schools and universities around the world are moving closer to learning the science we know our students need for the 21st century success. Schools from Singapore to Sydney, Helsinki to Hong Kong, and United Kingdom to the United States are innovating as their students learn how to innovate. A vibrant global movement is in play to retune the instruments of education for a rising band of digital learners and to sync up learning to the new rhythms of the 21st century. This course is about why and how the global landscape for learning is reshaping itself, and it's about what this global transformation, often called the 21st century skills movement. Part 1. What is 21st century learning? One of education's chief roles is to prepare future workers and citizens to deal with the challenges of their times. Knowledge work, the kind of work that most people will need in the coming decades, can be done anywhere by anyone who has the expertise, a cell phone, a laptop, and an internet connection. But how to have expert knowledge workers? Every country needs an education system that produces them. Therefore, education becomes the key to economic survival in the 21st century. To further understand what our times demand for education, we must take a closer look at the changing world of the 21st century work. So, this one contains the following topics: learning past and future, learning a living, the future of work and careers, education's purpose, historical roles and goals, education's role in the 21st century. We will take a look at the four converging forces: knowledge work, thinking tools, digital lifestyles, learning research, the forces of resistance, and the top 21st century challenge. Moving on to part 2, what are the 21st century skills? The 21st century themes are surrounded by three sets of skills most in demand in the 21st century. They are learning and innovation skills, information, media and technology skills, and life and career skills. The desired student outcomes most needed for our times, including learning through traditional school subjects and contemporary content themes, combined with 21st century skills relevant to some of the key issues and problems of our times, such as global awareness or multicultural awareness and understanding, environmental literacy or ecological awareness and understanding of energy and resource sustainability, financial literacy or economic, business, and entrepreneurial knowledge, health literacy, which is healthcare, nutrition, and preventive medicine, and civic literacy that contains civic engagement, community service, ethics, and social justice. In order for us to understand and to address the issues and problems of our times, we have here the following skills that can help us, like critical thinking and problem solving, communication and collaboration, creativity and innovation, digital literacy skills, information literacy, media literacy, information communication and technology literacy, career and life skills, flexibility and adaptability, initiative and self direction, social and cross cultural interaction, productivity and accountability, and leadership and responsibility. Moving on to part 3 is about the 21st century skills learning. What are the different tools, okay? The learning power of the right question at the right time has been celebrated throughout recorded history. Learning through solving problems goes back much farther in time to the first humans to plant seeds and domesticate animals, ensuring a local supply of food and the beginnings of agriculture. Problems have been the perennial motivators for tool making, invention, religion, laws, science, engineering, business, and the evolution of virtually all our modern technologies and societal institutions. So we have here the road to answers and solutions. We can look here on the screen and we have some powerful learning tools that we can adopt in order for us to address the problem. Like, for example, the wheels, four-phase project cycle. We can also look into collaborative small group learning, project learning methods, problem-based learning, design-based learning. Now, this research or these activities have been proven that project learning works. So we will include the discussion of the evidence that project learning works. Now, on the other hand, there are also some obstacles to collaborative inquiry and design learning. And we will try to look at that in order for us to be aware of what are these obstacles to collaborative inquiry. Now, after that, the conclusion comes. How do we learn for life? No one wants a depressed economy, a low standard of living, an unproductive economy, few social services, or depressed and struggling families with little hope. This is not the future any nation needs or wants. The best insurance against this sad fate and our best hope for a brighter and a more prosperous future is to continue to invest in providing 21st century education for all our students, even in the difficult times. Since every country can share a common vision of what the 21st century education is and can work toward a similar set of learning goals and methods, every country can contribute to a global pool of expertise on how best to implement a 21st century education system. This will mean that an investment that produces a successful learning innovation in one country can have a large scale effect as many other countries adapt and adopt the innovation for their own use. So, in our small world, our classroom, let us start our new way of learning as we continue to learn what 21st century is about. Moving on to the last part and the most important would be the 21st century skills practice. So how do we practice? What are the different activities that are needed for us to test whether we've learned the skills, whether we've acquired the knowledge in order for us to succeed in our continuing education and in life. So for the project presentation for the project presentation, there will be a separate video that will talk about what is the project requirement for this course. So that's all for now. I hope everybody got a good glimpse of what 21st skills course is all about. I hope that I interest you to continue this class and let us all together become a lifelong learner. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the online class. Bye! Hello, students. Professor Torres here. As you all know, we will be holding our classes online for the first 2 weeks of the semester, or maybe for an indefinite time. So I would like to share with you this Netiquette guide for online courses. It is important to recognize that the online classroom is, in fact, a classroom, and I expect certain behaviors when you communicate with me and your course mates. These guidelines on online behavior and interaction are known as Netiquette. The purpose of the following information is to help you to be a more effective and successful student when communicating via email, chat rooms, or on discussion boards, as they are part of your online learning activities in the Department of Tourism, College of Business Administration, Kim Young University. Proper conduct in an online class is just as important as in a face-to-face classroom, with similar potential repercussions for failing to maintain decorum. Remember that in an online class, it is common for a very substantial portion of your grade to be a function of how well you perform in online discussion areas and other classroom participation activities. Your ability to communicate properly in an online class can be every bit as important to your success as you perform on multiple choice tests and written assignments. So, let's start. First, let's talk about security. Remember that your password is the only thing protecting you from pranks or more serious harm. So, here are 3 tips to remember. First, don't share your password with anyone. Second, change your password if you think someone else might know it. Third, always log out when you're finished using the system. For the general guidelines, I'd like to share with you 11 tips. When communicating online, you should always first treat your professor and course mates with respect in email or any other communication. Second, always use professor's proper title, such as doctor or professor. Third, use clear and concise language. Fourth, remember that university level communication should have correct spelling and grammar. This includes discussion boards. Fifth, avoid slang terms such as WhatsApp and texting abbreviations such as letter U instead of YOU. Sixth, use standard fonts such as Arial, Calibri, or Times New Roman. And since my eyes are not so clear, I prefer that you use a size 12 font. Seventh, don't use caps lock feature as it can be interpreted as yelling. And number 8, limit and possibly avoid the use of emoticons such as what you see here on screen. Ninth, be cautious when using humor or sarcasm, as the tone is sometimes lost in an email or discussion. 10. Be careful with personal information that both includes yours and others. And last, do not send confidential information via email. Okay. Moving on to another means of communication, there will be times that you will be sending an email. So here are some email etiquette that you have to remember. When you send an email to your professor or course mate, you should first use a descriptive subject line. Tell the recipient what your message is about. Is it a question? Is it a comment? Is it regarding an activity that you would like to follow up? Second, be brief. When I say brief, you can go straight to the point. Emails are intended to be short. Third, avoid attachments unless you're sure that your recipients can open them. Sometimes we have the tendency to insert a link, however, that link cannot be opened. And so when you attach something to your email, make sure that it is something that can be seen by the recipient. Fourth one is avoid hypertext markup language or HTML in favor of a plain text. These are complicated forms of communication. Next one, sign your message with your name and have a return email address. More to remember, think before you send the email to more than one person. Does everyone really need to see your message? And last two, be sure you really want everyone to receive your response when you click Reply All. And last but not the least, be sure that the message author intended for the information to be passed along before you click the forward button. So in short, think before you send or before you click send. Another way of communicating online is using a message board. A message board is like a blackboard or a whiteboard The only thing is it's online. So I'd like to share with you some netiquette and guidelines when posting on the discussion board in your online class. First, make posts that are on topic and within the scope of the course material. Second, take your posts seriously and review and edit your post before sending them. Third one, be as brief as possible while still making a thorough comment. Fourth, give proper credit when referencing or quoting another source. Next one, be sure to read all images in a thread before replying. It's important that you know what's going on in the thread of information before you add information or before you add something on that thread. The next, don't repeat someone else's post without adding something of your own. So avoid that because, of course, as part of courtesy, then you have to have your own words when you participate in a thread. Another point is avoid short, generic replies such as I agree. You should include why you agree or add to the previous point. Another one, always be respectful of others' opinion, even when they differ from your own. There are tendencies that there are different voices on a message board. So if it's something that's not the same stand that you have, then respect that post. Another, when you disagree with someone, you should express your differing opinion in a respectful, non critical way. And last two tips, do not make personal or insulting remarks. And more importantly, be open minded. I hope that you learned something from this and would be applying it in our online class. So, with that, I'd like to thank you for listening and looking forward seeing you in our online classes. Thank you.